Hey, what's going on, everybody? I got another podcast here, the MrSuprPotato podcast, turning into a potato crew in a sense, and I'm here with a very special guest of mine,
Come on, guys. It's Mikey V. Nice to be on the podcast.
Mikey V. Nice. All right, dude. Well, hey, thanks for showing up. Just a little bit of background on Mike. Him and I work together. Once again, I'm not going to get into our work because that's not what we're here to talk about, but uh, just like when we were talking with Dave Stephernauts a couple weeks ago, the whole reason of this podcast that kind of came around is we would sit at work and just talk about games for hours. Like I think we talked more about games than we actually did work. like
So many hours of game talk.
oh my gosh, it was awesome. So once again, the whole point of this podcast is kind of to push it out to everybody, and really mainly is for us just to get to know each other, or not to know each other, but kind of reconnect again, because we're all in different parts of the world right now. Like Steve Fernatz is in he's on an island somewhere tropical, and Mikey V is down south for me, and I'm still actually in the location we all used to work together at. But anyways, Mikey, you wanna give us a history and what got you into video games?
Yeah, man. So, just watching the podcast that you and Dave were doing, just kind of going off like that format. It was so very similar to both of y'all's. It was. So I remember like one of my first early memories was, 3 or 4 had to have been. But so my dad, funny because my dad doesn't even care for video games anymore. But he had the original Nintendo, the NES,
Nice.
and he had, of course, the Super Mario Brothers. He only had 2 games on there. It was probably really just to pass the time. But they had the original Mario Brothers, and then he had Duck Hunt. So I remember just playing those 2. Again, I had no idea what I was doing.
So hell, your dad had bought the system, and the only games he had was the combo pack that came with the system.
Yeah, I guess so.
Awesome.
Yeah, I was born in '94, so that'll put a date on me. But so the Nintendo, what it came out like in '90, right?
The original Nintendo?
Or no, like '80, yeah, '87. See,
80,
this is how.
86, 85, 86, I believe.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, the
yeah,
original Metroid. Yeah.
yeah.
See, this is
the
where
SNES came out in what, 91?
right. Yeah. See, this is where my historical gaming facts fail.
That's okay, dude.
I'm already Googling stuff now.
It's not a retro channel, but like, yeah, I see what you're saying. Like, you were born in 94. It was old. It was on another generation before you even like were born. But I get it. Got you.
But yeah, that was the first little console that I kind of got introduced to, and then I don't remember. I remember we had an SNES, but I don't remember exactly how we got it. Of course, popped up. I don't know if that was more for my brother. My brother, he's about 4 or 5 years older than me, and so that was really kind of where it kicked off. So the introduction, of course, was the NES, and then the SNES was, the first game that I remember out of that one was probably like NBA Jam.
Nice.
Yeah,
On the
NBA
Super
Jam
Nintendo?
on the Super Nintendo, man.
Dude, okay.
'Cause-
I'm gonna interrupt you. I'm sorry, real
Yeah.
quick.
No,
The other week, the whole reason Dave and I wanted to do this podcast is I was looking into my old game collection, right? And the only thing I have absolutely 100% complete, like inbox with the manual and everything, is NBA Jam for the Sega Genesis. That's the only game I have complete.
so funny, man.
Anyway,
Well,
sorry, go ahead.
It's crazy because so I had just recently got a emulator
Mhm.
from a couple of buddies at work. A buddy had like a 64 emulator, and then he had like a Game Boy Advance emulator or whatever, and then another buddy, he actually gave me the I think it was just the Super Nintendo emulator. So dude, I was scrolling through because a lot of our games that we bought were third-party games. They
Yeah.
weren't really Nintendo, mainstream Nintendo games. So like NBA Jam, and honestly, that kind of takes me back to our trip in California. when you had your little SNES Classic. I
Oh,
don't know if you
oh,
remember that.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Like I remember I went out to go see one of my other buddies I grew up with that
Oh.
moved out there, and you were completely content staying in the hotel room playing, was it X-Men or something? You're like, I love this game. It's from my
Oh,
childhood.
yeah, man. It
Yeah,
was
it's like,
X-Men Mutant Apocalypse, which
there you go.
yeah, dude. I just went back. So when I first got the emulator, I was playing that thing. And I was like, dude, I don't know how I beat this so much as a kid, because that was one of those games I would play and play and play over and over again, because it was, well, one, I love the comics. I love the cartoon X-Men, and then of course they had the game.
Yeah.
And I would, be in my backyard, pretend fighting with my brother, and dude, was uh it was just such an awesome game. So that was, but I played it now, and I'm like, how did I beat the game so much? And then and I figured it out. There's the character Wolverine, and he was like probably one of the more OP characters on that game, because his moves and his, like, I guess now they're considered hitboxes. They were so easy.
Yeah.
That was probably everybody's favorite character. So they're like, here, let's make Wolverine super easy to use, and that's probably how I was able to beat the game 12 times over,
I got you. That's like any of the Turtles games. If you're playing, was it Donatello? He's got the stick.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he's got the biggest reach, so he's the easiest to, get the hits. I got you. Awesome.
Did you see that real quick? Did you see that that collection that they're coming out with?
Yeah,
the Cowabunga collection.
Yeah, the from Konami, the first thing Konami's put out that had any relevance in like 5 years. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Like I was telling Dave, like I would love to pick that game up, but I know it's gonna be another game I'm gonna buy and like expect to play. I just won't get to it. Like if I was still with you, or if I did like a work trip with you or Dave or somebody that I would actually sit down and play
Yeah.
games with, like I would absolutely buy it 100%. But
It's
I don't
hard.
see it happening.
Yeah, it's hard. You get older, and it's like, man, do what my parents are talking about. I don't have time for games anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. But okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, I was actually fast forward through all that stuff. I don't want to get stuck on one thing, but yeah. So the Super Nintendo, all the retro games. There's NBA Jam, Ninja Turtles, Turtles in Time.
Oh yeah.
What was it? I think you might have heard me mention this. RoboCop versus Terminator.
Yeah.
What was another? Oh, and since you're are you a Bulls fan? I know you're from Chicago.
I mean, yeah, I grew up in Chicago in the 90s. I mean, I have to be, right?
That's like mandatory.
Yeah, right.
You sign that on your birth certificate.
Yeah, basically. I mean, I don't follow basketball anymore. It's the only Chicago team I don't follow, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, so they made a game with Michael Jordan. It's called Michael Jordan and Chaos. Michael Jordan, Chaos in the Windy City.
Nice.
That's another. I may have shown you it, but that's another, like, just a third-party game that was like, it was weird, it was fun, and it just fit right in the time. It's just one of those really cool games. It was a side scroller and a platformer type game. It was fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, so moving on from that.
Okay, so let's talk about like your. I guess so. That's like where it came from. Your dad had the NES. You had a lot of third-party games coming through. So, when did you start to like becoming a gamer? Like, when did you realize like you played a little extra than the average person?
Oh man, it was early on. Like I mean, of course, I think most kids would probably have a sleepover and play game. I think I heard you on your last podcast. Everyone would doing like a LAN party before LAN parties were cool.
You're trying. I think I tried to do a LAN party with Halo or Halo
yeah.
2, and you had to have some sort of motherboard or some sort of central like system. And the dude I was with, like on one time, he fried his. So it's like, well, now what? Anyways.
Oh man. Yeah. But yeah, no, it was remember, so no, I just was always, when I wasn't outside pretend fighting, it was I was just was playing games, man. If weren't outside doing something, I was inside either watching TV or playing games. That was
Okay.
just always my enjoyment. Uh, I would say I probably got like serious into gaming. Um, I don't know, man. It's just been a part of like who I am such a long time. I can't really identify a
Okay.
point. You know what I mean?
So like for me, I can identify like playing Counter Strike, right? I mean like the original Counter Strike before Source even was a thing.
Yeah, yeah.
So what's like the first big franchise you can think you were into, like really fully developed into? You know what I mean? Like fully engulfed.
Well, okay. I guess now that you put it that way, easy one, Metroid.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, that's one of my my gamer tags on there. Yeah, Metroid, man. I remember. So I went to a buddy's house, Lance and Chance. I forgot their last name, but
Wait, hold on.
they're twins. They're twins.
And their names rhymed. That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm sorry, I don't mean
yeah,
to make
dude.
fun of your childhood friends, but I don't like these kids just because of their names.
I already don't like you. No,
Yeah, right.
no. So,
Yeah.
well, I actually don't talk to them. They were actually like my brothers. Um, it's we still all hung out. It was really more of like their mom hung out with my mom, our mom, and we just hung out, played video games, did birthday parties, whatever.
Yeah.
But so we would go over. They actually had a PlayStation. What was it? Mid to late '90s, whatever it was, and of course, me and my brother, we were the way it was for us. We were always kind of like a generation behind.
Okay.
Because when we had the Super Nintendo, the PlayStation had already made its debut. By the
Mhm.
time we got a PlayStation, the PS2 is maybe like a year from its launch.
Yeah, I got you.
Um, but anyway, but yeah, so I was playing Super Metroid, and I remember just falling in love with that game. It was the environment, the atmosphere, um, feeling. So that was like I was like, man, I'm like totally into this game. I actually we didn't own it, but then we had moved away and I forgot exactly when we picked up our own copy. But we eventually picked up our own copy. Uh just played that one to its core. That was probably another game that I tried to be. It was a little bit longer than X-Men, but another game that I just played 12 times over.
So you're talking about Super Metroid?
Yeah, Super
Super
Metroid.
Metroid for the SNES. Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
I got you.
And but it was funny because that's a more complex puzzle game at,
Yeah.
at parts,
Oh yeah.
because there's no hints, whatever. So I remember it probably wasn't until like the early 2000s that I legit beat it, only because we had dial up downstairs, computer room, we called it. And it's just funny. I remember looking up like the FAQ or the walkthrough Super Metroid. This is like had to have been like early 2000s.
Yeah.
And having the dial-up internet, and it took like 30 minutes to load up one page. And so,
Oh yeah.
but yeah, so that was probably like the first big game that I was like, man, I'm hooked. And then of course, not too long after that, they had the Metroid Prime.
Okay.
Metroid Prime series. But yeah, we had the SNES, and then remember my dad kind of got it for like my brother's birthday or something. We had kind of skipped the 64 altogether. Not to say that we didn't play it, because I played it at my cousin's house.
It's too bad,
That's
man.
where oh man, well I got to play like Melee. I remember my.
But you got
cousins
to
had,
play Melee on the 64? That's pretty cool.
Not Melee. The original Smash Brothers.
Mm-hmm. I got you.
But yeah. Played. What else did we play for with them? I think they probably had Ocarina of Time, and Majora's Mask.
Okay. Yeah.
Fell in love with those games.
I think I'm gonna stream Ocarina of Time. I have not completed Ocarina of Time. Although I had it as a kid. I had that and Majora's Mask, but I haven't played
wow.
Anyways, go ahead.
How do you? Well, and maybe you want to cover this later on, but how do you feel about the Zelda series as a whole?
Yeah, we can pop into that right now. So, as you know, you kind of got me into Zelda, right? So when we first met, I think I had bought Breath of the Wild on Switch, obviously, because no one bought that on Wii U, because nobody had a Wii U.
Yeah.
But I think I pumped like 5 hours into it, and I kind of like left it alone. I think I'd picked up Doom at the time, and I never really went back into Breath of the Wild. And then I met you, and you said how I think we were driving in your car, and you had the Triforce or a sword, the Master Sword or the shield hanging from your rear view mirror, like on a necklace.
Well, I forgot.
And then we started talking about it, and I was like, okay, I'll pick it back up. And I went on a work trip, and then I couldn't put it down. Like I just I was loving finding the new shrines and figuring out the puzzles and everything. And then I never beat it. Everyone's gonna kill me for this, but I put it down. I think after I got all the shrines and I beat all the ancient beasts.
I
forgot what are they called? Ancient beasts?
I believe so.
I forget.
Let me type up.
Get it, Google it. But anyway, so I got all 4 of those guys done, and I really enjoyed it. I think I had like 70 hours into it, and I was just I put a lot of time into it, so I just moved on to something else. I never beat Ganon. I know.
That's what they are.
Oh, Defined Beast. Yep, you're right.
Yep.
So, but anyway, and then about the time I put it down, Link's Awakening was remastered for Switch, so I picked Link's Awakening up. And I got about 3/4 of the way through that game, and I think I got stuck on a boss, and I didn't have a way to like. I lost patience basically. I will lose my patience with games immediately. If I get stuck for like 30 minutes in the same spot and I just don't know where to go, I have so many other games that it's really easy for me to just like put that down, and just forget to go back to it. So that's where I'm at with that. So now. Everyone says Ocarina of Time or A Link to the Past is like the 2 best Zelda games, okay? So I tried A Link to the Past a little bit. I put like 15 minutes into it, right? I really didn't give it a good try. Like I know. But now that Ocarina of Time is on the Nintendo Switch for like the NSO subscription, and I have that for my kids, all right? Don't get mad at me because I spent money that I shouldn't have. It's for my kids, right? They like Mario Maker and playing Mario Kart online, so whatever. Make them happy.
Really just to keep them busy, but when they go to bed, it's all yours.
Absolutely. And then I have the Tribute 64 controller. I don't know if you saw the review I did on that one. Not a very good review, but it's a very good controller. So I have no reason now not to play Ocarina of Time, other than the fact that before I start, I will have a printed out strategy guide. Like I've been looking to buy one. If you buy an original strategy guide, you're looking like $100. Yeah, but I found one online I could print out, but my wife doesn't want me to use that much ink, so I'm gonna wait until she's not looking. Then I gotta print it out. But yeah, I'm gonna have the strategy guide, or I might just like put my tablet up and then like use my tablet. But that'll probably be something I stream. So if you guys are interested in me streaming Ocarina of Time and you get my first reactions going through everything, just drop a comment. We'll see where we're at. Right now, I'm going through my PlayStation game. Yeah, that's where I'm at with Zelda. Like I am trying to get more or become more patient to get through Zelda. You know.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now, dude. And I think this is with any, like whether it's Mario, it'd be Pikmin, Metroid, Zelda, anything, any type of game. The water levels suck.
Yeah, the water and ice levels are the worst.
Yeah, dude. Exactly. Said it, man. It was, so spoiler alert, the water temple in that game is like
bad.
If you didn't have older brother that already beat it and that learned how to beat it from his friend who had the guide,
yeah, that's exactly how it worked. Yep.
You were not beating it. whatsoever. And then, dude, there's also the Master Quest, which is it changes up the dynamics of the dungeon of the temples altogether. It makes the bosses a lot harder. I never attempted it. I heard this from my cousin. He actually has like a replica. I would assume he still has a replica of the Master Sword, but he's probably like the biggest Zelda nerd that I know.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was telling me about the Master Quest when that came out, 2004 or so. There was a special edition that they were doing with the GameCube bundle.
Okay.
But yeah, that's so, dude. I'll tell you now. So don't get me wrong. Link to the Past, awesome game. It's for its time. It was an awesome game. It's very very fun, and I've probably talked to you about it also. But one thing that captivates me in a game, and of course a lot of other people too, is like the score, the music.
Mm-hmm.
The music, the environment, graphics, blah. But yeah, Link to the Past, solid game. For what it was in the day, 10 out of 10. Obviously Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask. It's a little bit different than the direction that they were going with in Ocarina of Time was like your typical hero's journey type thing, and then Majora's Mask took like a very dark turn.
Okay.
And I'm sure you've had to have heard of Majora's Mask.
Oh yeah. My buddy's kid was playing it when he was here yesterday.
Okay. Yeah. So but yeah, dude, so that's another good one. It's one of those, it is weird. Like it's a very different game, very different pace from what Ocarina of Time was, but another solid game.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also like Wind Waker, if you haven't played that one.
Nope. Okay. So we're talking about Zelda. I'm sorry, Mike. We'll get back to your history, but I am so excited about this right now. So let's get into the Zelda rumors real quick. So you just brought up Wind Waker. So that's another game I want to get into. And okay, so I'm thinking about buying it for the GameCube. Although the GameCube is the only system I don't technically own, but I have a first gen Wii which will accept GameCube games. So I kind of have a GameCube.
Yeah, dude.
So I'm thinking about picking up Wind Waker, but before I do that, I have to beat at least Ocarina of Time before I'm going to spend any more money on games I'm not going to play.
Yeah. Well, because it's in the Zelda-verse, and I'm sure somebody with a lot more Zelda knowledge than I do, they'd probably correct me if I'm wrong. But I don't know that they're all in the same. And obviously the same universe, I guess, or someone could dissect that. I don't know, but so Wind Waker is Ocarina of Time happens, and then I can't remember however many years happen, but Wind Waker is down the line. It's still within the same timeline as Ocarina of Time, and so it kind of ties into it just like ever so slightly. Ties into Ocarina of Time. So yeah, definitely be Ocarina of Time and Wind Waker. I remember a lot of complaints when that game first came out. A lot of people were like, like the art style.
Yeah.
Weird. They made him like too cartoonish.
Yeah. That's what attracts to me. It's what it's attracting me to it now. Just the art style of that is so different. Like it looks awesome, but like I know Skyward Sword just came out like a remastered version, and I don't want to have anything to do with that. That art style just bothers me. And
yeah, that was so. And this leads me up to another, like, this one for me is probably up there. So I would probably put, and I'm sure a lot of other guys would too, but like Ocarina of Time would probably be like my number one Zelda.
Okay.
And then up there, like tied very closely, is Twilight Princess.
Okay.
And that one was for the GameCube. I think they made it for both GameCube and the Wii. It was really made for the Wii, but they ported it over to the GameCube for people that didn't have a Wii at that time.
Yeah, the stretch. Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
So have you heard of the rumors that are coming out right now? They're saying that there's going to be a Wind Waker and Twilight Princess combo pack coming out for the Switch.
Dude, that would be awesome. I would definitely love to buy it.
I would
play
buy
those
it.
again.
I would buy it. Like, I know it's gonna be $60 because a Nintendo game's never cheaper than that, and it never goes on sale.
Yeah.
So I will nut up and buy that one. Sure.
Yeah, dude, that is those games. So, because again, Wind Waker, I don't. What is it? Yeah, I did play that before I played Twilight Princess because that was another really awesome game. It did take me a while to beat that one, but I did love it. At the end of everything, I was like, that was a solid game. But Twilight Princess was they brought a lot of realism artwork, and then they made Link a badass. You know, he does a lot of like cool, fancy sword moves. So if you played Brawl, Super Smash Brothers Brawl,
Oh yeah.
You know, they started doing like the taunts and everything, and they I don't know if they specifically made those like fancy sword moves that he did for Brawl, but it fit perfectly with it, you know. And yeah, dude, that's probably tied up there for me at least as like number one in my eyes. You know, Ocarina of Time and Twilight Princess.
Yeah. All right, well, okay, so let's talk about more Zelda. So they delayed Breath of the Wild 2 again. I'm sure you heard about that. So how do you like? Are you upset they delayed it? Are you happy they delayed it? Like, do you just want the game now, or what do you think?
I don't know, man. This is my stand because after beating it, because I remember I was on a trip, and that's what I was playing while I was on that trip was Breath of the Wild, because I picked it up, you know, just like a lot of people do, and you yourself, you know, picked it up, played it for about a good 10 hours, 15 hours, and then put it down. Now, I thought that they were going to go with the story different direction, you know, because although a lot of the Zelda games, they typically go towards the same type of formula. It's the way they deliver it, and it's really just the delivery of how they do it that really makes it unique. And of course, the art style, the music, and everything else that goes with that too. But so anyway, I was really kind of underwhelmed with. I love what Breath of the Wild. I know I'm kind of talking in a circle, but I'm getting to the point.
No, go good. You're good.
But you know, so I was kind of like underwhelmed with Breath of the Wild. It was a solid game. Just it didn't captivate me as obviously the other Zeldas did. So to hear that Breath of the Wild 2, you know, it's kind of interesting to see where they're going to take the story. You know, and maybe this will be one of those things where they kind of pull off delivery, because it looks like it would be like a really fun game based on like the gameplay that we've seen and everything.
Yeah.
But that's gameplay for a Zelda game for me. I feel like gameplay, not that it's not important, but I think this, you know, for me, I feel like the story is like probably more, maybe like a little bit more important than the gameplay. If you can kind of get that.
Yeah, but I completely disagree. So yeah. Like, if I want a story, I'm gonna go watch a movie. But like, I am all about the gameplay. Like, that's what makes me happy in a video game. But I can understand and appreciate how you think.
Yeah, it was. Because don't get me wrong, I think, I did think like the climbing mechanic, it did get old after a while.
Oh my god, did it get old?
You know, and then of course, like that was another thing too. I think with having breakable shields, breakable swords,
Yep,
and breakable utilities, it didn't give personality to your items.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah, it was frustrating. Like, I would save my good swords, like, until like I thought I was gonna like get into a fight, but I never would really get into a fight with those. Like, I'd never pull out those good swords. And then when I got the Master Sword, that would like lose power every so often, right?
Oh yeah.
And then I got is it the Master Shield? What's the shield called?
Yeah, or the Hylian shield.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that shield, right? I got it, and I broke it. I didn't know you could break it. It broke. So I think that's when I put the game down. Yeah, I specifically remember like in a battle, and I broke that shield. I'm like, well, now what do I do? It didn't recharge, right? So now I was out of the best shield in the game, and I'm not even close to like going against Ganon. I think I broke it against one of the sub bosses in the tower, in the Hyrule Tower, like trying to get to Ganon, and I broke it in there, and so I'm like, done. I think I put it down and I picked up Call of Duty or something. Now I can remember why I put it down. I just got so frustrated. I mean, I put a good chunk of change into that game, over 70 hours, and I was very stacked, so I was done. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
No.
That is how we feel about Zelda. You got anything else you want to say about Zelda?
No. Pretty.
Okay.
It hit that pretty well.
I think we lubed that cow up good. All right. Now let's talk about E3 being completely canceled. How do you like? What's your take on it? Do you think E3 will ever come back and be what it was, or is E3 just done?
I don't know, man. I don't see. I actually have to look that because I did see that it was canceled. I didn't see the reasons for it. Do you have that off the top of your head?
So I don't know if they ever put out why it was canceled, but like I can make my assumptions. You know, they probably didn't have the backing from the companies because everyone can just put out a press release or like their ads. Because all E3 was a big ad for what game was coming next. So all they have to do is put a video out on YouTube, right? And everyone's gonna see it. So why are they gonna pay millions of dollars for like a booth at a big convention to like? I think E3's time has passed, unfortunately. As much as I enjoyed watching E3, and I really look forward to E3 every year, I think it's over. It's done.
Yeah, I could see. Yeah, because of course the companies have adapted their way around E3.
Yeah,
You know, it's not dependent on E3. There's YouTube channels that you can subscribe to, and gaming articles or gaming news outlets and stuff like that. Yeah. No, I can see that happening.
I think the Nintendo Direct is what killed it because everyone looks forward to a Nintendo Direct like it's a mini E3, right? Like, and like 25 minutes of like Nintendo talking and then new games showing up. Like, they don't need to spend any money on that. Like, they spend a little bit of money on the production of the 25-minute or however long like video showcasing all the different games and DLC or whatever's coming out. And I'm just as satisfied. But the only thing I did like about E3 that I hope sticks around is there's like a 2-week period where all the different companies come together, or not really come together, but they push out info and what's new to come at the same time. Because I know Sony does their state of plays just sporadically, and I don't really see Microsoft putting anything out. Like, they'll have some sort of event, but I'm not going to watch their events because I'm if you're going to fanboy me on anything, it's a Microsoft fanboy. But I am not going to watch any of their Microsoft Live or whatever they call it because it's way too long. They never get to the point. I just won't do it. But Sony State of Play and Nintendo Directs are awesome. I will sit through most of them. And not so much the State of Plays for Sony, but I will get the gist of those at another time. Like, after it airs, I'll watch like Arlo or RGT or even Spawn Wave Media. I'll watch their stuff and get what I need out of that video or out of that State of Play, and hopefully not waste 2 hours of my time or whatever the State of Play would be.
Yeah. No, I agree, man. I think it's there's such easier ways that these companies can just do stuff in house. You know, it kind of. You know, the biggest last time that I can kind of remember. I mean, don't get me wrong, I've gotten excited for recent E3s, but I remember like the biggest E3 event that I got like just ecstatic for was it was Metal Gear Solid 4. Have you ever played those games?
No, So I have like
Oh,
15 minutes into the first one. When I was a kid, like I remember playing the demo on the PS1 with my buddy. I think he got like the demo from like Pizza Hut or something. You're
oh
you're
yeah.
you're too young to remember this, Mike. But back in the
Listen,
day,
buddy.
yeah, back in the day, if you ordered like randomly, you would get like a demo of a game, right? I mean, it was mainly
Yeah.
for PlayStation. I don't think they ever made a cartridge for N64, so I was kind of,
Yeah.
left in the wind. But anyway, so my buddy had a demo. He had the skeleton game Medieval. I think that's it.
Dude, I remember
Medieval?
the demo that you're talking about. Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Mhm.
that. And then he had a bunch of just PlayStation 1 like classics, right? And we
Yeah.
would play through the demos all the time. So that is my relationship.
That's so funny,
Metal
man.
Gear
Because
Solid.
we were I don't maybe we got like one issue of the magazine, or maybe we got a year, whatever it was.
Yeah.
I think it was. How long has GameStop been?
Oh man, I remember when it was Funko Land. Then
I don't-
EB Games, like too. But yeah, they've been
Yeah.
around a minute.
Oh, founded 1984. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, they were probably around. Well, it was probably through them that we got this subscription to PlayStation Magazine, and that's how I got the demo. Me and my brother, and we went to GameStop and got the subscription. Wrote down our information, forwarded it in the mail, whatever.
Yeah.
They came back in the magazine. Of course, smack dab in the middle of the magazine was the demo disc.
Yep.
So pull it out, pop it in, that same demo disc you're talking about. Yeah, man. And Medieval, that's another game. I only played the demo, but I can guarantee that I would love that game if I finished it.
Yeah. Well, shit, you're an adult now with an adult job. Why don't you buy it?
Buy it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had that master a while ago. Game to add.
Absolutely.
Film collect.
All right. Well, that's how I feel about E3, I guess.
Yeah, I know. Off so many tangents.
No, that's what I want to hear. I want to hear tangents. That's what this is about. But all right. Let's talk about the PlayStation new subscription service. What do they call it? PlayStation Now? No. What are they calling it? I forget.
Well, I don't know if this is a placeholder name, but it's PlayStation Spartacus.
Right. I think that was the pre-name for it when they came out and announced it. When Ryan, whatever that dude's name is, he announced something else.
Yeah.
I'll look it up. But what are you thinking of it?
So I think this is, obviously to combat Xbox Game Pass. I think this is where they're trying to combat that. With Xbox, you can basically stream all the way back to the original Xbox, then have all those games able to play, and I believe it's like Sega also.
Yeah.
Maybe that.
No.
Yeah.
Is it Sega? Maybe.
I know it was like a third party something. But so that's obviously they're doing it to combat that. But
Yeah.
that's one of those markets that hasn't been tapped into, which I'm very surprised that it hasn't been tapped into, is the PlayStation and PlayStation 2 games. They've been obviously remastering a lot of these games. But it's people want to see, hey, I want to experience the original. Experience the original, like Crash Bandicoot, Medieval, Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah.
Road Rash, like all all
Road
those
Rash.
games.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. It's called PlayStation Plus. I just looked it up because I knew it wasn't still Spartacus anymore. They renamed it back to PlayStation
Well,
Plus.
you know what? Yeah,
But-
it's actually being changed to, well, it's still going to be PlayStation Plus. It's just tiers. So there's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Essential, Platinum, and Premium, and whatever they're calling the tiers.
Yeah. So
So
getting on to your point about everybody wanting to replay the old games, so Xbox has been doing that for a long time, right? Like they have that backwards compatibility for like 100, like it's a ton of games. Like I can jump on my Xbox and I can play original Xbox games all the way through Xbox One games and then the Xbox Series games. But
yeah,
I think what Sony's trying to do is stay away from that. Like if you want to play something old, go buy the old hardware and play it. I think that's their mindset. I mean, I don't want to speak for them. That's how I feel it is. Whereas Microsoft's like, we want you in our system. We want you in our group. You know what I mean? Like in our community, and you can play whatever you want as long as you're on our consoles and our systems and our network. I can't think of the word I'm trying to think of here, but they want to keep you on a Microsoft brand product. That way they can sell you more stuff, and they don't necessarily care what you want to play. They're going to try to give you everything you want. That way you're stuck. Not stuck, but you have more of your attention in one spot. Whereas...
like capitalizing on the... I'm trying to think of that word also. I know what you're saying, though. Yeah.
Yeah, keeping you in the Microsoft house, right? I can't think of the correct term for it. But where Sony's kind of like, hey... We made those games, like all those old games already. They're on the PlayStation 1. If you want to play that game, go buy a PlayStation 1, right? But I think they're starting to understand that they're losing out on money. They're leaving money on the table, and they're finally saying, okay, we're going to start bringing this stuff back very reluctantly. I feel like Sony's reluctant doing everything. Like, remember a few years ago when they wouldn't do cross-console play? Like, they absolutely refuse to let PlayStation players play with Xbox and PC players the longest time.
Yeah, because wasn't it just Xbox and PC to play together, but not so.
Yeah, but that's like Microsoft playing with Microsoft's stepbrother, or you know what I'm saying? Like, like it's so like together. Like Microsoft is a PC or computer company, you know, whereas Sony's main product, other than like, well. Last I saw, Sony's most profitable product is their PlayStation brand, whereas Microsoft has pockets. Like just like if Xbox brand disappeared tomorrow for whatever reason, Microsoft would still be okay. Like they probably wouldn't be great, but they would be fine. Whereas if Sony lost PlayStation, I think Sony's gonna go under.
So. Well, that's the thing. Yeah, because think about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you have the PlayStation. Really like their market. I'm sure there's other things they have, but main things that come to mind.
All right.
Yeah, no, I mean that was pretty much like all the products that they have was like camcorders and TVs, so if they take away PlayStation, that's like a big chunk of it.
Yeah, well, I mean, all that stuff's gone nowadays. Like, how many people go to the Walmarts or whatever Best Buy stores buying camcorders? Like, you don't. It's on your phone, right? Everything's on your phone. You don't need it.
Little quick tidbit about that, because it was for super eerie, or not eerie, but just crazy. We had some old like camcorder cassettes that we were trying to download to burn to a disc or a digital copy or wherever, and man, that if did your family ever do anything like that, like recording when kid or whatever?
Oh yeah.
Okay, yeah, because so come from a divorced family or whatever, so like the camcorder got kind of lost. Luckily we have tapes, but we have the original camera. To go and buy a camera, which was Sony, it would have been like, people were charging $100, $200 to have like a fully restored thing. And I'm like, dude, I don't want to, I'm just trying to see old videos,
Yeah.
Anyway, just a small tidbit. Sony, but.
Yeah, it's like any retro thing is going to be incredibly expensive. Like, I make fun of my dad for keeping his old VCRs that broke years and years ago. I mean, like, a VCR that broke in 1985, he still has laying around. And I think I was pissed off because I helped him move. Like, he moved across town to where he's at now.
Yeah.
And I was like, why am I moving? Like, why do you need all this crap? Like, why am I carrying loads and loads of VCRs and old books and cassettes and his old 8-track player that I know he's never going to use again, but he has to have. Whatever.
That's funny. He's like, in case I want to watch the original Die Hard.
Right. Yeah, I'd love it if he watched that. That's too new for him. All right. So that's PlayStation subscribe, the PlayStation Now or Plus or whatever they're calling it. Like, are you gonna ever get the PlayStation Plus subscription? Like, would you put money into that?
So I currently have the PlayStation Plus, like the the only subscription that they have right now. What is it, $60 a year? And to me, when PlayStation moved to what Xbox did, but mind you, obviously, like the hacking and everything that happened 2010.
Yep, I remember that.
2010 or 12.
Yep.
Yeah, so when they kind of had no choice but to buff up their security system or firewall, if you will, I could understand why they went the direction that they did. When it first happened, it was like, man, this sucks. Like, I don't want to pay just to play online. But now it's become that's what you do. And correct me if I'm wrong, because I only have a Nintendo Switch and a PS5 currently. But PC, I don't think you pay for any online services, right?
No, I don't. Because I've got I got a moderate PC and I play games here and there, and I don't pay any subscriptions. No, but
okay.
For Xbox, it's the same. In a sense, for any free-to-play games like Apex Legends or Call of Duty Warzone, you do not need a subscription to play those anymore. You can hop on and play as you will. But if you want to play like Battlefield or what else, like any full-price game or partially priced game, anything you paid for, you have to have a subscription, at least Xbox Gold subscription. But at that point, you might as well just buy Game Pass, which I do have Game Pass, but I barely use Game Pass. So I kind of waste $15 a month, but whatever. It's
that's so there's online play, and I'm sure they let you guys download a couple free games every month, right?
Yeah, but they're terrible. Like, they haven't put out a good, they call it games with gold. They haven't put out a good game in like 2 years. And I used to just like grab them every now and then, but I haven't. I think the last good game I got was Celeste. Like,
oh wow,
2018. I think they had Celeste out.
Oh wow, yeah, that was. I'm sure there's probably another few games. There's a few like third-party games that are decent. Like I remember, me and my wife and another buddy, we all downloaded Friday the 13th. If you haven't played that one. Came out like in 2017 or whatever it was, but it was very short lived that we played it, the amount of time that we played it for, but it was cool. But before that, it was probably Hollow Knight, which me and you've talked.
Yeah, we talk about Hollow Knight.
Yeah, talk about how much we love Hollow Knight, and
another game I got into. It got hard. I put it down. So.
I'm seeing a pattern here.
That's my pattern. It's absolutely
That's awesome.
All right, so let's talk about another game that I've put down, Metroid Prime. I've never played Metroid Prime, and I know you want to discuss Metroid Prime, and I do follow it. So, what are your thoughts about Metroid Prime series? Which there's another rumor going around about the Metroid Prime remake.
Oh yeah, with the coming to Switch, right?
Yeah, that's what they're saying. They're saying it might have the Metroid Prime remake ready to go, but they're waiting because Metroid Prime 4 is so far behind in production, right? They announced it. I'm sure everyone knows this. They announced it like in 2019, I think, or 2018, and then they came back out a year later or 2 years later and said, "Hey, didn't like it. We're scrapping it. We're starting over," which I respect. Right, that's not a game I'm looking forward to, but I know you are. So
yeah, no, it was because I was watching that kind of closely, and the company that they decided to partner up with to make Prime 4, they didn't. I don't know if it was like I think it was just Nintendo executives. They did not care for the direction that they were going. So yeah, they ended up scrapping it, and they gave it to the original studio, Retro Studio.
Yep.
And so I was really happy about that. That happened like you said, 2019 or whatever, 2020, whatever, and they released it. But super excited, and the only teaser that we got was just what would probably be considered a loading screen, or really just a loading screen.
Yep.
But if they do port it over, those are, I don't know how familiar you are with the Metroid universe, but Super Metroid, Metroid Fusion, they've got Metroid Zero Mission, Metroid Dread. I've got that one. That's another awesome. They really knocked it out of the park with that one, because that really took it back to its roots.
Mm-hmm.
And of course the Samus Returns that they had. A lot of those games. Yeah, just the series in general. I love it. But yeah, 4. I'm not. It's one of those things that when it happens, I'll get excited. Until then, I'll just keep trucking along.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's nothing we can really do about it. But I've never played a Metroid Prime game. Actually, I'll be honest with you. I've never really played a Metroid game. Period. Like I can't say I've played it. Like I've got about 2 hours total into the entire series. So
oh yeah,
I can't say I've played them.
I would say probably the best one to get into to start off with. I mean, probably like Super Metroid.
Yeah, that's the one I got the most time into. So
yeah,
I have the SNES Classic. I have it modded, but I really wanted to get into I wanted to get in the one game and like beat it completely. And I told myself, okay, you're either gonna play and finish A Link to the Past or Super Metroid.
Yeah.
I did neither of those things, but I did put a good chunk of change into A Link to the Past, and then I was like, well, this is okay. I'm going to try Super Metroid. And I got through the first boss on Super Metroid, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, this is really cool. I really like it. I went to bed, and then I think I picked up Red Dead Redemption 2 the next day. Like, I just didn't go back to my Super
breakfast.
Yeah. I never really went back to it. I didn't dislike it. It was just, I don't know. I can't say I played them. I just be real.
Yeah, trust me. Yeah, it's because I remember actually with the walkthrough that I was looking at, there was a way. There's an underwater boss, and at that point in the game, the thing that was like a small thing, but the fact that they made it a point to put it in the game, was, so there's an underwater boss, like how to explain it? It's like not even an octopus. Anyway, the boss, you could fight him how you would normally fight any boss up until that point, but there's also some like environmental stuff that they put in there that you could blast. You could blast off. Boss will like grab you, and it'll try to like slam you into the wall. And you could actually use the environment to like kill the boss super fast.
Okay.
And I would have never known that if it wasn't for the walkthrough, the 30-minute walkthrough that it took me to load up on my dial-up internet.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But just stuff like that, man. Again, the music, environment, the gameplay, and then little things like that. You're like, dude, like this is a solid game.
Yeah.
But so anyway, definitely worth trying. You haven't played it, tried it, attempted it, definitely try to pick it back up, because it's not a very, well, I guess once you get into it, one of those, because it doesn't give you any hints. I mean, there's guides and everything, but if you get halfway through the game and then you put it down and you're like, oh dude, I forgot where I was even at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I forgot what I was even doing. But that one, then they've got all the handheld ones. Yeah, they're just, a lot of them are really awesome.
So I'm going to be honest with you, Mikey. I will probably never get into the Metroid series because, like you just said, if you put it down, you won't know where you are when you pick it back up.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And
It's one of those things you have to, again, man. Just adult life in general.
yeah,
It's, hey, if I had a whole week, if I was getting paid to have a whole week do nothing but play games, yeah, I could play it. Is
yeah,
that gonna happen? No,
yeah, no. But
no. So
I, I I've been preparing myself for the last like month to get through Ocarina of Time, like, and that's supposed to be an epic game, right? Like,
oh yeah,
I got like 3 hours into it, and I messed up. I didn't get a certain song I needed to play a rock monster or whatever. So, actually, I have the stream of that up if somebody wants to go back and watch what I had done.
Yeah.
I might start completely over with a guide, and I don't. Is that considered cheating? Is using a strategy guide cheating?
I think my wife would say.
Well, I'm not
Anytime-
asking your wife.
Well, I don't think so because I've understood the struggles of not knowing what to do and getting extremely frustrated in a game.
Yeah, I don't
And
want to
so
be
I'll go to-
frustrated. I want to have a good time, you know.
Yeah,
So,
man.
but I also don't
That's
want to cheat the whole game. Like, I think I will use the strategy guide when I get stuck. For like, I'll give myself a timer. Like, if I can't get through something in say a half hour, or that's too much time, 15 minutes. Say 15 minutes, I'm stuck. I don't know what's going on. I think I will pick up a strategy guide. I think that's fair. Yeah.
yeah.
But also,
You
it's
literally just cut your timer in half, so that just
yeah. I couldn't even finish my own thought without being like, nope, I can't do that.
no, that's too much time.
Yeah. but yeah, like
Right.
I want to enjoy the game, you know, like you said, we're adults. We don't have that much time. I have 2 kids, which are absolutely like the most demanding thing ever, right?
Oh yeah. Okay.
And anyways, like I'm not gonna sit here and waste extra time. I'm not 8 years old anymore, where I have all the time in the world. So
Yeah, yeah.
But
No, I get it. I don't think it's. I think so. Say with the bosses, give your time to kind of, or give you some time to kind of like try to figure it out yourself. Because there is. So I used to be nowhere near like the people. They're like, oh, I like the Dark Souls.
Yeah.
I no those types of games I cannot stand because if it's hey, I'm gonna mess you up and then you have to start all over again, almost like how Hollow Knight was.
right.
Not to the same degree, but like those types of games as you've gotten older, like I used to, and you know this with my playthrough of God of War 2018.
Yep.
I was playing Give Me God of War mode, and you're like, why are you doing this to yourself?
Yeah.
I was getting pissed.
Yeah.
And honestly, man, after that, if it wasn't that game, it was probably the next game after that I really, hey, I'm for myself, like I really want to start toning it down. And I'm tired of trying to do it just for the sake of saying I did it.
Right.
Completing it on the hardest difficulty, because it, by the time you're done, all right, my pleasure was over with 2 hours into the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And now you're just frustrated and sad.
So I gotta tell you, every time I start a new game and I have to select my difficulty, I think of you.
Yeah.
Like I'll read each one, and I'll see the bottom one. It's always on the bottom, the hardest one. I'm like, that's
Yeah.
Mikey's level. What a fucking idiot! It's so. I'm kidding. I don't call you a fucking idiot in my head. I call you something much worse. No, but
No, okay.
no, I always play my games on regular. Like, the only game I played on hard mode, like absolutely hard mode, was Titanfall 2. But I can
yeah.
I don't mean to brag, but I think I'm very good at first person shooters. Like, I have
yeah.
put thousands of hours into games. Like, I looked at my stats for Apex Legends, like just Apex. I'm, what did it say? 50 something days into the game.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
it's insane. I've spent 50 days, and that game
Yeah.
came out like 2.5 years ago, and I know I haven't been able to play. Okay, anyway, so I had to stop myself from playing that game because it was bad. But
Yeah.
I'm okay at that game. I'm not the best, but I do fairly well. So
Yeah, we'll have to do a session because my brother, he actually plays that's like his go-to game is Apex. I think
Yeah.
it still is.
Okay.
And I like it. I guess, Call of Duty has been such a big portion of my gaming, the mainstream Call of Duty. And
Yeah.
so to go to go from Call of Duty Apex, the way the movement is, it was I can't compete because I'm so used to something
Yep.
different. I mean, obviously you can train or you get good, kid.
Exactly. Like Call of Duty, like okay, so when Warzone first came out, like I played nothing but Warzone for 2 months, and then our buddy John, which I hope to have on the podcast one day, he goes, well, we're at work and we're bullshitting about games, right? Where
Yeah.
this all came from, and he's like, you gotta play Apex, you gotta play Apex, and I was making fun of him. I'm like, that's a little kid game, that's stupid. I'm gonna go play my full price big boy game, Call of Duty, right?
Yeah.
Like I thought I was awesome. And I was like, you know what, John? Okay, season 5 for Apex coming out. I'm like, John, I'll hop in with you. All right, let's try. I'll play probably a night. I'll be honest, man. I probably won't play tomorrow, and I'll delete it. All right,
Yeah.
dude. I didn't stop playing for 2 years. It was nuts. So what it was the movement. Like you just brought up the movement. So in COD, I go back to play COD now, which I can't, by the way, because I deleted it because it's how bad the movement is in COD. It's so stiff and stagnant, and you can't move. But in Apex, like I can only like it's kind of it's fluid, right? It's very fluid.
Yeah,
It's not
yeah.
slippery, but you can move very quickly, and you're everywhere. Your legends have different abilities, and some legends you can like get in the air and not like a jetpack or anything, but
Yeah.
It-
That was one of the
What?
things that I appreciated about Apex was so like when I remember doing like the MO canyon run or whatever.
Okay.
All right, this is how you control your legend, whatever. And then sliding down the hill. And I was like, that's such a small feature, but that is super cool. And it was really enjoyable to get to slide using zip lines. This is
Yep.
like I think this is probably one of the first like what was it, 2015, not 2015, 2016 maybe?
when it came out.
When when it came out.
Oh no, Titanfall. You talking about Titanfall 2?
Apex.
Okay, Titanfall 2 came out in 2016 because I know that because it came out with Battlefield 1, which is the other game I put a lot of time into. Apex came out, I think. We had our long work trip in 19, so it came out late 18, early 19. I think that's when it came out.
Okay. Yeah. So okay, yeah. February 4th, 19. Okay, so
Oh.
yeah, something else. Anyway, but yeah, so playing that, I was like, man, this is cool. It was definitely a big break from Call of Duty and the monotony that it was kind of going through at that
Mhm.
because what was it, World War II at that time?
Yeah, yeah.
Or whatever it was. But
Modern Warfare,
was
I think.
yeah, it was a good break. It
Yep.
was like, okay, you can use the environment to your advantage, your hills, the movement was different. And I like the fact that you could pick up your flag for your fallen teammate,
Yep.
respawn them and stuff. I was like, man, this is cool. I just didn't get a solid team behind me because it was me and my buddies from back home. They were, we were playing, but then none of us were good. We kind of were like, it sucks to keep losing over and over again.
Yep. Yep.
But so that's kind of why I was like, I really enjoy this game, but I just don't have a decent team to kind of continue my pursuit of the passion for the game, So
Yeah. No, I completely understand 100%. Like, I'm going to try not to get back into the game, but if you want to hop in on a match one of these days, hit me up. If I give up on Ocarina of Time or if I'm stuck and I see a message from Mikey B or V says, "Hey, let's play Apex." See you later, Link.
Yeah. I'll
But-
see it. I'll see you 10 years from now.
Yeah.
I'll
Go
get
back
you
into
one.
your hypersleep, buddy.
That's awesome.
All right, well,
Yeah, dude.
so let's talk about Call of Duty. Like, since that Call of Duty was huge for me, the first game I ever actually beat, I think, was Big Red 1. Is that Call of Duty? Or am I thinking of a Medal of Honor? I don't know, but
It
that's
might have been Medal of Honor.
I think it was Medal of Honor because that makes But anyways, like after I had kind of got off of Counter Strike, I was playing Call of Duty on Xbox, right? Like Halo and all. I played all the Call of Duties. Like I'm talking like Call of Duty 1, Call of Duty 2, 3. And then when Call of Duty Modern Warfare came out, I was in college and I had my own place. That's all I did. Like was it.
Which Call of Duty did you start off with? You said
The first one, like the original one, like the World War II
like
ones.
Okay, yeah. I probably didn't because I always seen those games, but they, um, to me, I don't know. I guess it always like when I would look at the back, look at the cover, like the gameplay or whatever. It always reminded me of like a computer game that my uncle would have shown me, and I'd be like, "That looks cool, but I'm good." You know what I mean?
You might have been too young back then, you know? Like you were probably like 10, 11?
When it,
2002, 2003? My guess.
oh wow. Well, let me see.
Yeah. No, I think 2004. It came out when I was in high school.
2003.
Yeah.
So I was about 9 or 10.
Right. Yeah, so I was high school age, right? So you guys can kind of figure out how old I am, which I don't care. I'm a potato. I don't age. But but yeah, so I really I enjoyed all those. I remember playing Call of Duty 2 online, waiting like in place of Counter-Strike Source. Because Counter-Strike Source was announced. Or maybe I was waiting for Day of Defeat Source. I don't know if you ever played that game, but that's a World War II game. That was kind of a rip off of Counter-Strike. So those are fun games.
Yeah.
Still go back to.
Pretty cool. Well, yeah. So I never really up until I don't know which. I think it was Call of Duty 4 that came first. I mean, obviously that was like the big mainstream one where it took off.
Yeah.
Was it 4 or World at War that? Yeah.
World at War had zombies, and I know you're a zombie fan, so.
Yeah. So 2007. Yeah. So then World at War came out in 2008.
Yep.
Yeah, I actually didn't have that game. I just remember my brother. So at that time, I had, how old was I? Probably like 13. And so my brother, him being 4 or 5 years older than me, he would have been like 18, 19, whatever it was.
Okay.
Or 17, 18. And he brought it home one day because he was working. He had extra money to blow, and I didn't. And he had the original PS3 at the time. And so he was just showing me off like all the cool features of the game, and I was like, "Oh, this looks awesome, man!" And so, we were playing and got hooked up on it. Me and him would play online, just like everybody did, and just loved it, And then World at War came out. I didn't pick that one up right away. I actually had some friends. They got it for Christmas. We ended up playing World at War. And that one, I didn't buy. The actual first Call of Duty game that I bought was actually Black Ops.
Nice.
That was because I think I finally had enough money to Anyway, I obtained a PS3 for myself because my brother had moved out and so on and so forth. And then I was actually able to I was working at that time, and I was able to purchase Black Ops 1 for myself.
Okay.
So that was probably like the legit first Call of Duty that I was able to purchase on my own. But, so I know I said zombies, but I've got a buddy that me and him, we actually were talking about zombies and like the direction of zombies and everything. I feel like that should be, because you don't really care too much for zombies, right?
No, I despise zombies.
Okay. Well, so maybe that'd be better to be put on another one. I'll get my buddy on here and have that like as a talking point.
Yeah, absolutely. I can make fun of you guys. I make fun of two people at once. No problem. Now,
Well,
I did like the World at War zombies. I thought that was cool. I know there's one stage, but I like the simplicity of it.
oh yeah,
Is like just you buy a gun off the wall, all right, and then you do have the mystery box, okay. Then that's it, and then you're just boarding up walls, and like yeah, you can open different parts of the house up, but that's it. And
yeah,
there's
yeah.
no magical portals or like different buses you gotta take and any Easter eggs. There might have been an Easter egg, but
Yeah.
I just remember playing that World at War Zombies a few times. You know, it was kind of like a fun break in between, you know, matchmaking.
Player.
Yeah,
Yeah,
multiplayer.
yeah.
So, but yeah, man.
That's
So
funny.
like I remember when the Call of Duty 4 came out, Modern Warfare. I was actually working at GameStop, and the same time I think Grand Theft Auto 4 had just released or just prior. Yeah, and I remember people like asking me for like what games are you playing right now, this and that. I'm like, well, I can't stop playing Call of Duty 4. Like this one, this is the game I've been playing forever.
Yeah.
And I remember like telling people all the time, but maybe I shouldn't have always been pushing that game because they were wanting something like Oblivion or whatever. But I've never played those games, so I'm not going to suggest you a game that I don't play. But
Yeah, yeah.
then
Oh,
yeah,
you want Norse mythology? Here's some Modern Warfare.
yeah, exactly. I only worked there like 3 months. I didn't get fired. I quit because I got another job, actually a really good job at the time. But
Yeah.
I think I just graduated college at that time. But anyways, so yeah, my whole push through with Call of Duty was I went all the way through the series, and I started falling off the series when Black Ops 3 came out. The whole specialist, in a sense they had, I really didn't like, but I still bought it, and I actually went to a midnight release for it. Pretty upset about it. And I skipped Infinite Warfare like the rest of the world did, and then I picked up Black Ops 4. That one was okay. Once again, the specialist I didn't like it, but I just dealt with it. I was like, well, this is the world now. So
Yeah.
that one was all right. I didn't put too much time into it. It was whatever. And then Modern Warfare, I did enjoy. I did enjoy Modern Warfare a lot. The whole how they redid everything was awesome. I liked that a lot.
Yeah.
And then what was the last one? Cold War. Cold War was okay. I don't play it online too often. I do have it on my Xbox, but the campaign was awesome. I will say the campaigns in the last two, I'm gonna exclude Vanguard. All right, that one doesn't exist in my eyes. But the last two good Call of Duties, I did enjoy the campaign, and I am not a huge Call of Duty fan right now. Like the whole crap going on with Activision, I'm not thrilled about. I'm gonna try to avoid them until the whole takeover finishes, and I know that Phil Spencer has them in their hands, and it's gonna be fixed. Because I trust in Phil. Like I would let him be my father if he wanted to. But I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna take a hard pass for a little while on Call of Duties. It's the same formula. Like they keep smashing the same thing down our faces, and I'm just over it.
Yeah. No, I agree completely. And again, I'll save my opinion with a lot of my opinion with Call of Duty is tied to zombies. There's a lot of complaint with that, but even with multi, so I did play a good chunk of, we'll just say like the past 3. So what was it? Well, we'll go back to like Black Ops 3. I feel like that's probably a good turning point for a lot of people. Just given the system, Call of Duty where it was at that time.
Yeah.
And the jetpack era, if you
Uh-huh.
will. I thought so. Like even like Advanced Warfare, I thought that was a really cool game. As far as multiplayer goes, I thought the idea of the game was cool. The campaign was pretty fun. Zombies got annoying after a while. Now that I'm like thinking about it, I'm like, damn, maybe this wasn't as good as the game as I thought. But I think on surface level, the base game was really cool. Could take it what it was, decent. Sure, I'll buy it used, and then I'll sell it after, once the next comes out, whatever.
Yeah.
I forgot what the the timeline is of all the different Call of Duties. But so getting back to Black Ops 3, that one, so specialist thing, yeah, I agree. I think that was like, it wasn't exactly what I was hoping for. But another one of those things that really captivated me, with any game, not necessarily so much the music, because you don't you don't care for Call of Duty for the music, but like the level design. I thought the level design was like awesome, man. Because and I actually told a buddy of mine, I went back, me and him were about to do something together, and I went back and I loaded up Black Ops 3 and all the DLC, and dude, I just went in and I explored the maps, and crisp how crisp and clean and so much attention to detail that they had in those maps
Yeah.
was like insane, man.
Are you
And
talking
we
about the
had
campaign maps or the multiplayer maps?
just everything, man.
Everything?
Everything.
Okay.
Zombies, campaign. Campaign, I'm sure there's attention to detail in there too, but the campaign, I actually did not finish that one. Which I'm sure a lot of people didn't, unless you did. I don't know. But
Wait, which game?
Black Ops 3.
No, I did not.
That one was I don't even remember what was going on in the story.
Yeah, it got all futuristic, and like I said, I think I put about 5 to 10 hours on the multiplayer, and I was just kind of bummed out. At that time, I was a Battlefield fanboy. Right now that kind of ashamed of Battlefield now too, but I was playing a lot of Battlefield 4, I believe, at that time, or maybe I don't know what time. I can't get the times exactly right, but I was either playing Battlefield 4 or Battlefield 1. That was my life back in the day.
Yeah. But I mean, so that was, that was one thing that, love it, hate it, dude. You go back and you look at those level designs. Like it was a remake of a Black Ops 2 map. Well, they actually brought it back in Cold War.
Is it the one with the containers, like the shipping yard? I don't know the name of it, but
No, so in Black Ops 2, it was like Beverly Hills or something.
Yeah. Yep.
They had like the little Corvette or
Yep.
Lamborghini out front or whatever.
Yep.
They had like the open square aisle and engagement center. Yeah, so with Black Ops 3, they actually remastered that map and they made it like into like a Roman garden type thing. And so not only with the Black Ops 3 engine were you able to like run on the side, run over water. There was like a small little waterfall. There was like pillars. There was a garden.
Yep.
There was like a carriage thing. But dude, I'm telling you, I don't know if you have the DLC.
I don't even have the game.
I don't even have a PS4. But so, well, you could go back and telling you, look at the level design, and that is the best level design for the past. That game came out 2015. That is the best level design. That is like, I think Call of Duty, honestly, because the sci-fi aspect of it. Anyway, I could go on a rant with all that stuff. It was just a really solid level design game, attention to detail. But anyway,
I like it.
Yeah. Black Ops 4 kind of that, almost like the same opinion as you. Like it's just been like a slow decline.
Yeah.
Series, and that's even Vanguard. I've probably put a month and a half or 2 months when the game first came out. And I was like, man, it's just not hitting the same. You know what I mean? So that's why I actually, like right now, I've been kind of bouncing back and forth with Kirby and the Forgotten Land, which came out a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
And Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which that's been a really fun game to get into.
Yeah. I can't do the Ubisoft stuff anymore, but Kirby, the Forgotten Land, my kids love it. Okay, so
Oh yeah.
they love the demo because so my kids are 3 and 5, and they don't know the difference between the demo and
Oh
the
yeah.
full game. It's Kirby, right? Like whatever. So
Just keep playing the demo over again.
they do, and they think they're so good at this game. They're like, "Oh, I beat it again, Daddy." I was like, "Yeah, you did a good job, brother. I'm not gonna pay
Sure.
$60 for it, but I mean, if they like understood and they were bored of it, but they keep playing it and they're finding enjoyment out of a game.
Oh
Why
yeah.
would I make a difference or change it whatsoever? You know? So
Oh yeah.
and
Make
then
it harder.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's gonna get harder, and they're not gonna feel like they can beat the game and get frustrated and put it down, and then be just like their daddy and waste money and never go back to a game.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but I find them on their tablets and whatnot watching Kirby like videos. So yeah, maybe their thing is
Have you
Kirby.
found? Yeah. Have you found the macaroni with the chicken strips thing yet?
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
I'll have to send it to you after this, but dude, it's so. My son, he he loves that. Well, I mean, not that he asks for it all the time. Anytime, anytime that it happens to roll by or like semblance of that, he's like, "Can you do the macaroni with the chicken strips?" And I'll show you. And you'll.
Is this something
It's
in
a,
Kirby?
no, it's a meme. It's a so I guess so the meme I guess is like or maybe it's a TikTok originally. I really don't know. Um, but it's macaroni with the chicken strips, and then the sounding really old as I explain this meme.
Yeah, I'm so lost.
Well, so the I'm just gonna have to, man.
No, man, no, keep explaining it to me. This is interesting. I'm really
Okay,
enjoying
okay.
you talking about macaroni and chicken strips.
So it's okay. So the specific thing that I'm saying is it's Kirby with like a voiceover of this little kid, and he's like, macaroni, and it's got a plate of macaroni, and then a plate right next to it is a plate of chicken strips, and so he's like looking at the macaroni, and the voiceover is like macaroni, and then he looks over to the chicken strips, and he's like, with the chicken strips, and he's
fuck?
like, he's like, ah. He fades. He like gets Thanos snapped out of existence, and he just fades.
Okay, yeah, you're gonna have to send it to me. Oh my
So
god.
stupid, dude.
And
It's like
Damasio, your son loves this.
yeah. It's like a 6-second video, and he just loves it. He actually does it to where he's like, "Dad, can you play the?" There's a thing where it'll play it
Mhm.
one time, and then 4 times, and then 16 times, and then
Oh my
32
God.
times, and he goes nuts. Well, he doesn't go nuts, but he's just like play it, and he just gets like super excited to hear it, and I'm like, this, and it goes all the way up to like 1,500,000 times that it plays macaroni with the
Why?
chicken
Why do you
strips.
need to see that many times?
He just you like, dude, by the time it gets to 1 million, or by the time it even gets to like 200,000, whatever, you can't even hear what he's saying anymore
Oh, I'm sure.
because the audio is just so distorted.
Yeah. just the
Damasio,
noise.
he loves it, man.
Yeah. Good for him.
But yeah, I'll send it to you after this. It is
Oh
pretty
my god.
funny.
Speaking of things you sent me a photo of a trophy you got.
Yeah, man.
So do you want to talk about trophies and Resident Evil, or do you just want to talk about them separately?
I guess we can kind of combine them.
Yeah, you can combine it.
Well, yeah. So that's kind of funny, because I know I guess we didn't really finish the introduction or whatever, but it all kind of ties together.
Yeah, man. Whatever. The
But,
whole this whole freaking episode is introducing Mikey V.
Well, so that was another because we played a lot of the games growing up that we played, like kind of not vicariously through our friends, but go over to our friend's house. I don't think at the time we had a PlayStation. And so Resident Evil, I think it was Resident Evil 2 that a friend had. Me being the youngest of the group, I've always been the youngest wherever I go. So this new job site that I'm at, there's actually people that are younger than me, so it's like really weird. It's weird to see like kids younger than me, and then they're talking about the new things that are coming up, and I'm like,
Yeah.
it's strange. Anyway, well, so it was Resident Evil 2. Well, so I was the youngest out of, it was really just my brother's friend and my brother, and I would be like, hey, my brother's name is Joe. I was like, Joe, can you guys play Resident Evil 2?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, well, why don't you just go play it yourself? And I was like, scary, And I was like, I don't want to play it by myself because zombies are gonna eat my face off.
Yeah.
And anyway, so that was early 2000s that I kind of got into Resident Evil. So that's another awesome series. Remakes, Resident Evil 4, all that stuff. Resident Evil 4, man, that game. That's another game that I played many times. I played that game on more systems, all the systems that it's been ported to. I've played that game. So it originally came out. Are you familiar with Resident Evil 4? I don't know if you've played that one.
Absolutely. Like, I've been on this planet longer than you, Mikey. Yes. Now, I won't play Resident Evil 4, but I know about it.
Yeah, that's what I was asking.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it first came out on the GameCube, which you said you didn't have a GameCube, right?
No. I
Okay.
had one at one point just to play Brawl.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
No, I don't have it.
Played Brawl on the GameCube? Dude,
No, Melee.
awesome.
There you go. Yeah, that's what it was. It was Melee. Sorry, I was
Exactly.
like, shit, no, that's not right. Oh, man, he got me.
That's funny. I know I did the same thing with Melee. Anyway, so we it first came out on the GameCube, and I don't think we had maybe we had a GameCube at that point. Maybe we just didn't have the game itself. But I was over at my cousin's, and they were playing like Halo, and it was kind of like LOL. They were playing like solo or campaign, whatever it was, and I was playing the GameCube in the next room.
Yeah.
And so I was playing Resident Evil 4, and I was like, oh, okay, this looks cool. Didn't really kind of know what I was like, I know I like Resident Evil, I just don't know what I'm getting myself into.
Right.
So the very first like environment, maybe like 25 minutes into the game, you are faced with a dude with a chainsaw, which you're probably familiar with now. But a dude he's got like a potato sack over his head, and he's got a chainsaw. And they board up the house. The chainsaw dude's coming after you. He busts down the door, and I'm just, dude, I'm scared out of my mind right now. As like a 10, 12-year-old kid.
Yeah.
And find a shotgun, so I'm like, okay, cool. I can do this. I can do this. Well, so there's I don't know if it's supposed to be in the game or if it's a glitch or whatever, but so if you go a certain path in the village, you, instead of activating that cutscene of like the lockdown in the house, you can actually find the same chainsaw dude going to a certain part of the village. So I did the lockdown scene, jump out of the house, get down, and then I'm running up the village because I'm like, man, I'm running out of ammo. I'm trying to find my way out of here. And there's the second chainsaw dude, but they have both of them coming at me, and I'm getting cornered. Again, the beats per minute in this 10-year-old's heart was just off the charts, dude. So I was like, I'm so screwed right now. So of course and Resident Evil 4, they brought the camera like in your face, like you're getting your head cut off. And so
no.
you get your head cut off, and I was like shocked of what I saw, and I was like, I just pressed the power button, put the controller down, walked in the other room.
Mikey's done. He's just done.
I was like, no, man, I'm good. I'm good.
but it's still a game that you've played again. Like you got the balls to pick that up again and then get through it again. Like,
yeah,
I won't do it. I won't do it.
Oh man, it was just a what's the word? It was just like a spearhead game at its time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
just leading the way and like renovations of the gaming industry. You know, it was a really solid game. It kept the scary aspect of it. Gameplay was awesome, and the environment was really cool. It really made you feel isolated. But yeah, so anyway, they had it for the GameCube. They ported it to the PlayStation 2, I believe, next.
Okay.
And then they ported it to the Wii, and I believe they ported it to the PlayStation 3, Xbox, PlayStation 4.
Yeah, I don't know what system doesn't run Resident Evil
Oh, dude,
4.
I was surprised. Well, and so the cool part about it is, when they ported it over to the PlayStation 2, uh, there was actually a DLC that wasn't available on the GameCube. And what it did was it kind of expanded the story a little bit, which was super cool. Like for me, like I'm a big like, don't get me wrong, like, of course gameplay and everything, but that's just one of those things that really speaks to me with the game. You know, like I said before, the music, the graphics, the environment, the story, gameplay, all that stuff. Um, well, so one of the things it did to make this game even more great was it expanded the story, and I was like, cool, man. So I really enjoyed this, and I'm sure there's like a term for this or whatever, but you played as a secondary character who she is still in the main story, but you don't see a lot of her in the main story. You know, she's kind of like a background character. So what the DLC did was it actually showed you in real time, like legit in real time. So one of the very first scenes that you're doing is you're actually running around in the village, while that same scene where I got my head cut off,
Mm-hmm.
while that's going on, she's running around like on the rooftops, so you don't see her. You know, they insinuate that you don't see her, even though, you know, if it really happened the way it did, you'd be able to see her from a mile away. But
Yeah.
you know, so it was a really cool point. But then yeah, they brought it out on the Wii, and I was like, I wonder how it would do, you know, with the motion sensor, you know. So I did
Mm-hmm.
that. It was still fun. And then the PlayStation 4, that one I probably picked it up for a little bit, but at that point, having beaten that game, you know, 20 times in the past, what is that? Almost 20 years now. Jeez.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, that's just one of those things. I'm like, I could probably pass up on the PlayStation 4 port. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. For sure. For sure.
But
So
okay.
after all these, all the different Resident Evil games that have come out, and I know you just beat the latest one, Village. What's your
Yeah.
favorite one?
Yeah, man. So, um, they with Village. Have you played that one yet or no?
Mikey, what do you think my answer is?
I didn't know if you like saw it any. Okay, all right. So
I understand it. I know it's like the tall vampire chick. Like I still watch all the gaming news on it and what. And
yeah.
I know what. No, I'm not gonna buy it and pick up a controller and play those games. Not happening.
So that being said, they actually, one thing that I appreciated, the Resident Evil 7 was awesome game. I love the fact that they did the first person thing. I It was cool, and I guess again the story for that one, because it didn't have like the original characters and it didn't tie into like three so much, because I don't know if they were trying to revamp the series at that point, but it didn't captivate me as much as like, well, Resident Evil 5 was just kind of, it tried to capture the same energy as 4, but it was just too actiony. 6, more or less the same thing, but 7, they revitalized it, did a whole new thing.
Okay.
It was cool for what it was. Anyway, so I would say Resident Evil 4 and Resident Evil 8, those are probably, you know, Resident Evil 4 is number 1, but Resident Evil 8 is number 2. That's they pulled a lot of chapters and a lot of pages, if you will, out of Resident Evil 4's book, which, as much as I played that game, I'm like, this, the whole, not the plot necessarily, but talking about the delivery again, the delivery of the story, gameplay, and mechanics and everything. I was like, I see where they got this from Resident Evil 4. So, but yeah, I think it was like 2 weeks ago, kind of getting into our next subject. Like 2 or 3 weeks ago, whatever it was, I finally got my platinum trophy. After I think I first started playing that game. Well, I guess it wasn't too far. I think it was like a little bit before I went on a trip not too long ago. What was it? November, I believe it was. I picked it up.
Okay.
And so yeah, like 5 months. After 5 months of trying to get this platinum trophy, and then telling myself, all right, you can move on. I finally got it. So, but yeah, that's well, take over your show. Go ahead.
Your show too, brother. But I was just thinking, like I want to talk about trophies and Xbox, like points or whatever Xbox has, but I want to do it with Dave. When you and Dave get on it, because you guys are the trophy hunters. Like, you guys live for this stuff. Like, when that stuff pops up on my screen, I'm more annoyed than anything. Like, get away from me. I don't care. Like, you've just, like, I lost my immersion from the game because you're like, oh, you earned a trophy or you earned Xbox points. Like, I don't know.
That's funny. Yeah. Well, so just a quick tidbit on that. That drive, if you will, because the drive has really been gone. I think Dave has probably surpassed me in the drive to get trophies anymore.
Yeah.
I was just looking at the trophies and kind of thinking to myself with Resident Evil 8, I was like, yeah, it's doable. I could probably do it. Because I got a platinum trophy on Resident Evil 3, which that one was pretty easy. Then Resident Evil 8 was tedious, but it was also not that bad. Resident Evil 2, oh man, the remake anyway.
Yeah.
But
look, when you say something is not that bad, that doesn't entice me to want to do it. Like
especially with my standards of starting on very difficult.
Right. Yeah. So when I can't even like finish a regular game, like when something becomes a chore to me, I'm not gonna do it. Like, I'm always gonna go back to why I play games, and that's to relax, have fun, and calm down, and kind of just chill. Unless I'm playing Apex, and I'm in full sweat mode, but I'm trying to get away from that. But
got your G Fuel snorted and ready to go.
Yeah.
Do you use G Fuel?
I used to. Like, I did actually. I just ran out the other day. I did.
That's so funny, man.
I was gonna buy more yesterday, but it's like $30 for a tub, and there's no specials going on now. So I got on Amazon and I bought caffeine tablets instead.
I bet you. I bought caffeine tablets.
I mean, because there's no sugar in it. I just want caffeine. Why not go straight to the source?
That's funny, man. There's a funny story about that. So in our introductory school, for electricians, there was a couple of guys that were going through the school with me, and they were just, so when the class first started, they were taking caffeine pills.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, man. He's like, I just love these things, they just keep me awake, and it's better than coffee. And you could tell he was just wired up, man.
Yeah.
And so he got to the point to where he was getting immune to it. His body was getting used to the caffeine. I think it was like 100 milligrams or 50 milligrams per tablet.
Okay.
And like, he looks at me and like a stupid look on his face, and he's like getting a little sleepy, and he's like all pepped up and stuff. I'm gonna take another pill. Pop.
God. Yeah, so the ones I got are 250 milligrams per pill, and it says on the bottle, it says only take 2 per day. Do not exceed 2. And I grabbed the box, and I knew what I was buying. Right? I'm an adult, and I used to be an EMT years ago, so I understand drugs fairly well. And I looked at my wife and said, look, only take one of these, like, because I know you like in rare conditions, if like you take like 4 or 5, you can go into cardiac arrest, and basically you're done. It's like taking cocaine. Let's be real, if you take that much. But I told her, like, only take one. Do not take 2, because I don't know if she's gonna accidentally grab it or whatever. Anyways, I took one today, and I feel fine. It's but I'm not taking multiple, and I won't ever take more than one a day.
Yeah,
Ever.
that's funny, man. Yeah, I've been doing actually like Celsius. I'm sure you've seen those by now.
Yeah, the energy
Like
drinks.
yeah, they're
Yeah.
quote unquote healthy, but they actually have a powder. I was going to Costco. I know this is super tangent, but
I love it.
as soon as I said Costco, but we were buying like a 15 pack for $20 at Costco. And I was like, all right, cool, good deal. They're normally like $189 or whatever. But then I went to Walmart one time and I saw like a 14 count of like the little same thing, just powder. You just add it to like 16 ounces of water.
Yeah.
And so it was a 14 pack for $10. And I was like, dude, I get that.
Yeah.
So, 13 packs into this thing, and I'm like, it does not feel the same as drinking a fizzy energy drink.
Yeah. Does it have like caffeine count and everything in it?
Yeah, it still says 200 milligrams, but I'm like, man, I don't, maybe it'll be the day. Maybe it's just the day that I'm taking it on. Super tired or didn't get enough sleep or whatever.
Maybe you're getting immune to it. Maybe you need to pop 2 packs than one. Let's follow your buddy's footsteps here.
Yeah, dude, I'm just gonna start snorting the packets and forget the water.
All right, Michael. Gosh. All right, well, I know I have a few more things on my list here we wanted to get to, but we are already an hour and 45 minutes in. So
yeah.
Let's leave these next topics for with Dave. Like, I want to talk about Smash HQ, but
oh yeah,
let's have Dave in here for that story because he was part of it, and we also want to talk about the Wii U and God of War. So
yeah,
let's save that for our next podcast because, sure we're gonna do this again shortly. But
yeah.
Do you have any final thoughts on everything?
I'm still king of Smash Mountain, dude. I don't know if you remember, but
I do very well. That's funny.
No, man. I'm glad I was able to come on, and this has been awesome.
Yeah. All right. Well, Michael, thank you very much, and everybody else listening, thank you for listening to the entire podcast. Probably the one of one person. Appreciate you, and yeah. We'll have more of these to come. Later.